Who is this irresistible creature who has an insatiable love for the dead?
So, just a quick little note, by the way, Defected Zombie here. But just a quick little note, part of why that whole last video was so freaking rushed. See, because I didn't realize that I hadn't, not equipped, verified my account. My YouTube channel. So it was restricting every time I tried to upload previous videos, which, as I mentioned in the last video, I've tried to upload that 5 freaking times, it wouldn't go through. I couldn't figure out why. It kept telling me that the length of the video was too long, so I was thinking maybe I have to like have a certain amount of views or something before I can start posting longer videos. But I was like, that doesn't make sense. I don't remember ever having to do that with any of my other channels. Or any of the other channels that I work for or help manage. And so it was like, I'm just like, what on earth is this? And so I was like, okay, well fine. I will just script all of my videos, and try and do them as quickly as possible. As opposed to letting myself ramble on nonsensely for like an hour and a half, which, to be fair, that was kind of ridiculous. Anyways, it turned out all I had to do was verify my account. So, stupid little old me, welcome to the video that is all about me. Oh god, I sound like an egotistical maniac. However, we are back with some more dining and talking, and as promised, I was going to introduce myself and talk about myself in this video. Yay! Oh my god. Okay, well first off, I am Defected Zombie, your host of this channel. I also have another gaming channel, for those of you who are new to this channel and don't already know that. Otherwise, those of you who have come over from that channel, hello. Pleasant of you to join us. Or rejoin us, rejoin me. I'm going to say stupid things now, not that that's new. However, I do want to state that the other channel is going to be strictly focused on just gaming. It's not going to be focused on any of the content that's over here. So if you are from both channels, please try and keep anything that is said on this channel over here. The other channel is meant to be more for fun, for games, for getting along, etc., enjoying entertainment together. Heck, after dealing in all this controversial stuff, it makes sense we might need some downtime with some actual games where we don't discuss anything but just focus on the games. So that is what that channel will effectively be for. So yeah. Anyways, I will always provide links to everything down in the description of the videos that I am uploading. So, like, say we're discussing a topic based around another YouTube video or a Facebook article or whatever. I will provide the link for whatever it is that we are talking about down in the description. So be sure to check those out. Also, if you're up for it, do like, comment, and subscribe. It does, you know, it helps out a lot, and it means a lot. And you are not allowed to leave, you crazy people. Ugh. Well, I guess it can't be helped. I should have put these guys over here and these guys over here, but whatever. Yes, give me all of your menus. Menus, I tell you. Menus. Boop, boop, boom, boom. Okay, so anyways, moving on. Some of the things we will be discussing on this channel will be related to controversial topics. In case you hadn't already picked up on that. I am going, for the sake of full disclosure, I am going to go ahead and let you know that I do and am currently scripting these videos. And the reason behind that, as I kind of sort of previously mentioned, well, no, I haven't mentioned it yet. I'm about to mention it now. Look at me, I'm getting ahead of scripts that I'm, or, blah, well, at least that'll be explained. I forgot to do that in succession. Oh well. It's whatever. We still have past expert. I am a little bit of a perfectionist, and when it comes to games, you guys will probably discover that. As I will go back and repeat the same levels a million times until I get them perfect. Whee! Coffee machine! Okay, let's move on. I actually prefer the second game of this. I'm actually excited to power through this one because I much prefer the second one. I like to be able to decorate the restaurant, not just watch it get decorated as I make money. But beggars can't be choosers. Okay, well, they can, but that's a topic for another day. So, moving on. Some of the things, as I said, that we will be discussing on this channel will be related to controversial topics. As such, I want to give you guys a bit of insight to myself. So that I can grab these trays. Let's see, where was I? A bit of insight to myself, so if I have a strong opinion about something, or you wonder how it is that I even know what I am talking about, you'll have that background to work from. I don't know why I was trying to take their plates to the ordering stand thingy, but I'm not going to debate that in my own head. Well, I am. I'm just not going to talk about it. I don't know what I'm saying. This is why I'm scripting things, by the way. Because if I don't, I ramble on. So I'm trying. I swear I'm trying. Okay. Anyways, ever since I was a kid, I have had all kinds of medical issues from both mental and physical aspects. I grew up with postnasal drip among a lot of other breathing problems. So if you hear me hacking and coughing away or sniffling or making weird, awkward throat noises, that's why. It's usually because I am choking. There's no way I'm gonna be able to get to those guys. Anyways, that being said, boom. Let's see. The last airway test that I had done and performed on me actually came back telling me that the results were that I have actually only been intaking 35% of the oxygen my body actually needs, which is not good, obviously. I also found out last Friday that I actually have a tumor on the back of my neck, so I'm currently in really good health. I was actually all proud of myself because of the tumor. The tumor was self-diagnosed. Something that if you haven't already seen yet, that I've posted, that was at the end of the other video, is and will be at the end of this video, is a playlist called Let's View Household Pets from the other channel. I have grown up taking care and raising rats. I've owned over like 200 rats in my life. And including done my own in-home personal vet care for them. From removing abscesses to tumors to etc., which, if you know anything about rats, they are very, very prone to having tumors and abscesses and all kinds of lumpy bumps, including very large balls that are twice the size of their head. But yeah, so when it comes to cysts, abscess, tumors, I'm very, very well versed to being able to determine what is what via touch. So, I was very proud of myself because I went in self-diagnosed and walked out being told that yes, I was correct and I was going to have surgery. Possibly. It's actually a benign, lymphoma. So, it's just like a little fatty abscess tumor that, that's benign and it's not really causing any discomfort or anything, but if it continues to grow or starts to cause, discomfort, at that point it will have to be surgically removed. Which is exactly what I called it. I was so proud of myself because it was like, I called my parents up. Which I will get into a little bit. My parents are actually my legal guardians, even though I'm turning 30 this year. I called my mom and dad up, and I was like, hey, I need you guys to take me to a doctor's appointment because I have a tumor. Of course, they're like, oh my god, stop reading things on Google. You're panicking yourself for no reason. And I was like, no, I'm serious. I have a tumor. This is something I would know about. And so, it was really entertaining because they're like, why do you think you have a tumor? And I explained to them exactly what I thought it was, why I thought it was that, and they still didn't believe me. So, we go into the doctors and walk out with the exact same diagnosis, and I'm like, I told you. And then I didn't have to Google it. I've already dealt with these in the past. So that was pretty entertaining. It was very awkward. I walked out of a doctor's office, an appointment, being very proud of a tumor. I don't know many people who can say that. I tend to be a very awkwardly positive person, even in really shitty situations. I will try to make the best out of any situation. It can be very annoying. Okay, let's go. Oh, Biz, how you have given me very weird, like, whistle habit and humming habits. There we go. Food critic! Okay, let's just get this done real quick. So we can get back to reading the script. Okay, there we go. Anyways, where was I? Oh. Currently, because I have been adopted, currently because I was adopted, not I have been adopted, it's a weird way to phrase that, with a closed adoption, at birth, my pulmonologist, immunologist, and rheumatologist, as well as my family care physician and multiple allergists that I am seeing, basically, they have all been trying for a few years now to figure out what is wrong with me. I have been told so many times by so many doctors that I am an enigma. I absolutely hate it when doctors say this, because to me it's like basically saying, I have no idea what's wrong with you, and I have absolutely no intention or 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 willingness to deal with your problems. So here, have a recommendation to this specialist or that specialist or another specialist because they can help you further. Not that they really can help you further, I just can't be bothered to do the research and figure out your problems myself. And I mostly just don't want to. So there you go. Your diagnosis is an enigma and go to this person. That's what I hear when doctors say that. Um, Okay. Currently, we actually do have two leading contenders, and the reason I mentioned my adoption, or me being adopted, is when I was adopted, it was a closed adoption, and there was no biological medical history or anything like that. Very little was actually known about my biological parents, which, you know, as I've gotten older, has kind of brought up some interesting health-related questions. One of which it has led us back to this leading contender. For those of you who might know what cystic fibrosis is, it does turn out that it is actually possible to get a late diagnosis with that. It's not always necessarily diagnosed as a child or, you know, as a baby. So, and because we don't know if I was ever tested for it, and can't ever actually confirm whether or not I was, it is currently one of the main leading contenders in my health-related issues. So, at the moment, I am scheduled to go look into getting a sweat test to figure out if that is something that could be a possibility. So yeah, fun times ahead. The other leading contender that that me and my doctors are looking into is the possibility of Churg-Strauss if cystic fibrosis ends up kind of just not going anywhere. I am being treated for all kinds of different allergies, and the allergy medication helps, but it does not get rid of the problem. In fact, I'm still having just as much severity with my postnasal drip and my mucus-related issues, as I always have been. So, in that case, the allergy medication and everything has not made a difference. Which is really unfortunate because I was kind of hoping it would. Because, well, I really would rather not have all of these mucus problems every day. Let's see, moving on. Oh, I am also actually supposed to go have a sleep study done to find out if, I have, or am currently suffering from not cystic fibrosis, from sleep apnea. So, like I said, lots of fun, lots of doctor's appointments, lots of annoyance. But that's just the physical current day side. Let's get into some of my history, which will explain my earlier comments and why it ties into controversial topics. Ever since I was a kid, I've had a very weird, issue with, my body and how it produces hormones. Stop trying to run away, people. Go here. Give them that, because it didn't get booster seated. Yes, they are now just a bunch of babies. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. From a young age, I developed early and very, very rapidly. My body basically decided that it wanted to start mass producing large excessive amounts of estrogen that weren't needed. And it ended up causing a bunch of really messed up things. Such as, well, weight gain and just a bunch of different stuff. Then around in middle school, my body actually decided to change things up. It decided it wasn't happy producing mass amounts of estrogen anymore. So instead it decided to start producing mass amounts of testosterone in its place. My voice got a lot deeper. I started getting hairy all over my body, and, things stopped functioning the way I guess they should. Let's see. I'm actually gonna let that kind of just build up for a bit. Like, basically, things were so bad that, hormonally, that I'm turning 30 this year, and in my entire life, I've only ever had 10 periods. And no, I know what you're thinking, but that's not a good thing. It actually has added to a lot of health issues, like I said, development issues, including stunted growth and weight gain, not to mention the hair. Good lord, the freaking hair. Kids, all throughout school, used to call me Harry Potter. Spelled, Harry as in actual hair versus how Harry Potter is actually spelled. That being said, whenever I would meet anyone new, they would always, of course, ask me, are you a boy or a girl? Which I actually have a very fun story about this. So, whenever I go to a grocery store, I always run into this whenever my card doesn't work or anything happens where the employee has to call the manager over to the cash register. Whenever I'm, at the grocery store, I'll be standing there at the cash register, and the manager will come over, and they'll be talking to the employee, and one of them will be saying he and him and using male pronouns, and the other one will be saying she and her and using female pronouns. And I will just be standing there with the biggest smirk on my face, wondering, do you not hear each other? Like, what is running through your heads right now? Like, do you not realize you're both calling me something different? And the funny thing is, I've had to deal with that my whole life. Even before I was 18, and the reason I'm bringing up my age of 18, I will get to around to addressing here in just a minute. Let's go and get those guys suited. I like how half the time I say sitted instead of seated. I just noticed I've been doing that. There we go. Give me your menus, old men. And go. I need the old men menus. There we go. Anyways. But yeah, so that always cracked me up. Legally, however, to answer probably some of the question that's running through your heads, like I said, possibly running through your heads, because I'm not going to assume I know what's running through your heads. I legally am considered male. As far as what my body how my body goes and whatnot, I am going to sit these people in their chairs and then I will answer that. Okay, so we're still gonna get, expert? Wonderful. Um, I have no breasts. I have hair all over my body. However, I do have a vag. I know you were all just dying to know that. However, I have a vag that actually does not function or work like it should. What that means is I don't get periods regularly, I can't get pregnant, I have no libido, no sex drive, I do have an enlarged clit, and this actually causes it to be completely numb. So, oftentimes I can't feel any kind of... For most people, it's considered a very large erogenous zone. For me, it's considered just a zone. Like, people, if somebody were to rub it, it would be no different than somebody rubbing my arm. It would just be like, why? The same goes actually with the inside of it, too. I actually have very little sensation, little to no sensation inside either. From the time I was 5, however, from the time that I was 5, I used to have imaginary girlfriends. I'm not going to lie, there was once a time that my actual first crush, and the first person I believed to be my girlfriend, was Princess Ruto. It's one of those moments where you just look back at it and you think, why? But I did later on in my life decide to become what was known as the IMVU fish. So, that actually continued to be a thing. Although after watching Geo, I'm not so sure that was a good idea. Oh well, at least I wasn't a fish that was going around farting. For those of you who have not seen that anime, I don't really recommend that you do! Unless you like really disgusting things. There we go. Okay, so, moving on. But yeah, I've always been more attracted to females emotionally than males. Like, to me, males have always been more like family members, than love interests. And so, because of that, and because of the fact that ever since I was in my, like, early to late teens, I started developing more as a male than anything else for some freaking weird reason. I basically decided to just make it official and go through the transitioning process and meet with counselors and get all the stuff taken care of legally. As such, however, the reason that I've brought this up and why it circles back to controversial topics is anytime we have something to do with gender topics, because of my unique situation and the way that I grew up with it, it has kind of led me to have a very interesting insight to most things relating to gender. Particularly when it comes to like gender war and the gender gap and all of that crap. It has actually caused me to basically walk my whole life between both genders, which has given me a very unique view of both genders and how those genders are treated, not just, you know, from each other, but within their own selves. Like, I have gotten a very unique view and perspective of how women treat other women, how men treat other men, and how women treat men and vice versa. So there are going to be times where certain topics will stick out to me because of this, and I will probably come up and address them or talk about them, and that's why ultimately I'll know what I'm talking about when I do bring them up, or we do end up discussing them on the channel, is because I will be providing my personal opinions with a very unique view into those topics. That being said, I am very completely okay and open to any and all questions about this. Somebody once asked me, so what bathroom do you use? My response to them, and to every time I've ever been asked that, will always be the same, which happens to be, well, whichever one's line is shorter. Because why wait around when you can just use both, or use either, not both. Yeah, I'm not gonna stretch from one bathroom to the other to use them. That's not an awkward mental image at all. Anyways, mentally, moving on. Mentally, I have been diagnosed with Asperger's ADHD back when it existed, and back when it existed. It's actually no longer in existence. ADHD has now been completely compressed back into ADD. So, for those of you who didn't know that. So yeah, so no longer will people really be diagnosed with ADHD, because of that. Let's see. I also have been diagnosed with PTSD and chronic insomnia and narcolepsy. My last and final diagnosis, and the one that I do want to address, because everyone always asks me about it, is, schizophreniform. And the reason most people always ask me about that is because they're like, what is schizophreniform? Don't you mean schizophrenia? No, I do not mean schizophrenia. Schizophrenia, the difference between schizophrenia and schizophreniform is diagnosed when when symptoms of schizophrenia start to show, but the cognitive impairment isn't with it. So it's, it differs based on the level of mental stability and functioning and cognitive impairment and things like that. I happen to be very lucky, and that a lot of my other diagnoses end up causing my schizophreniform symptoms to be counteracted in a lot of ways, which has repeatedly left me as a much higher functioning individual than I probably should be, considering the amount of mental issues that I have. My schizophreniform is actually the reason I tend to trip up a lot on what I'm saying, and why I lose track of what I'm saying, and why, even though with a script, I'm still going off script every, like, 3 seconds. In case that wasn't obvious. And why I can't ever stay focused, etc., etc., etc. That being said, moving on to the narcolepsy thing. A lot of people ask me, how can you have narcolepsy if you have insomnia? And also, what is chronic insomnia versus regular insomnia? Chronic insomnia is like the boosted version of typical standard insomnia. That's where it gets to be so severe that it becomes dangerous, basically. My current record for days awake straight, with no naps, no sleeping, was 6. Supposedly around 7 it can be fatal. So I've had to deal with that a lot, but the problem with insomnia is the longer you stay awake, the more you start to pass out, so hence the narcolepsy. A lot of people ask me, do you take any medications? I actually do not. I used to. But when President Obama was actually being inaugurated, before he was the official president, I got into a huge car accident. And, ended up having to be hospitalized because of a bad balance of medication. I immediately stopped all medication cold turkey and haven't touched any since. Okay, well, what else? Let's see. Oh, as far as the chronic insomnia goes, I do have, because of the chronic insomnia, I have a really hard time maintaining a regular schedule, which will cause content to be a little bit choppy on both channels. There might be days where I'll go for days without actual content on my channels. I will try to make sure that that doesn't happen regularly. But there will be times where it just can't be helped. Especially because I just became very mentally aware of the fact that I've said like 20 times in the last 10 minutes. But especially because I have no idea what I was saying. My mind just went blank. I can't recall for the life of me what I was saying. Okay, I'm just gonna move on. Oh, yeah, scheduling content and stuff. I have a really hard time keeping up with regular schedules and all that snuzz. One of the things that I was going to say about the, me taking time in between my content is the reason sometimes that can't be helped is, oops, I thought I got everyone. Oh well. The reason that ultimately sometimes can't be helped is because, I'm trying to get everyone before I lose them all. I can't do anything. Anyways, is because, well, in all honesty, I end up just getting so tired that I can't mentally function. Or think, or even focus on something. Like, I end up getting so tired that my vision just becomes so blurry that, like, my audio and visual processing just turns to mush. And everything kind of just becomes a blur. So it makes, like, focusing on anything almost impossible for me. And it takes quite a bit of recuperation to get back to a place where I'm able to start getting back to some normalcy. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. And believe me, I'm not a fan of it. I don't like not having set normalcy in my life. Okay. I don't really have a place to stick you, so I'm gonna just put you there. Moving on. Anyways, that's enough labels and tags about me. This video is supposed to be about who I am, not necessarily just what I am. And who I am... Well, I am the type of person who, even with all odds stacked against them, as I kind of got into a little bit there about positivity and over-positivity, and in terms of my medical stuff and everything else, I still try to put myself out there. I'm still trying to do this YouTube channel, even though I have social anxiety out the wazoo at times. I'm still trying to, I try to do as much as I can when I can, because to not do so would make me literally go insane. I will constantly, continuously try to stretch the capacity of my own limitations. I'm not the type of person to take things laying down. If I want something, I will make it happen. I don't care how, I don't care when, but it will happen. People are often very impressed with my ability to make things happen. Um, I am very passionate about things, and I am loyal to a T. Those I love and care about, I will go above and beyond to help. And I will also go above and beyond to help just people in general. Even people who I really, really dislike or hate. If they, I do actually have people that I consider my mortal enemies, or just my nemesis or my enemies for life. But hands down, if they ever asked me for help with something, I would still probably say yes and help them. Even if I was gritting my teeth and my blood felt like it was boiling the entire time I was doing it. But I would still sit there and help them. That's just who I am. From the time that I was 13, I grew up with an obsession with all things psychology. And neuroscience. I adore seeing how different people work mentally and coming to understand that. I am the type of person who will actually not sit here and bullshit you on who I am, but instead let you come to that determination and that idea for yourself. One of the reasons I never correct people on my gender and why I don't care if you call me male or if you call me female is because I will do what I can to make sure that the person that I'm hanging out with or talking to is comfortable. Everybody has their own different levels of comfort, and I am perfectly secure and comfortable with who I am as a person, and I have already come to understand that my gender has no reflection on who I am as a person. And so if somebody is more comfortable thinking of me as a female, by all means go ahead. If somebody's more comfortable thinking of me as a male, by all means go ahead. If somebody's okay and perfectly okay and wants to think of me as a fish, by all means go ahead, because you wouldn't be wrong. Or a dancing pickle. I don't know if any of you know what IMVU is, but I used to go on IMVU. And I used to work in those stupid little IMVU strip clubs to try and get credits. And I was really, really bad at it. I would go around dressed as a giant pickle and asking people if they wanted to tickle my pickle while on a pole. Because that's the normal way to do it. Oh, and I'm terrible at flirting. Absolutely terrible at flirting. Sarcasm goes straight over my head, so if you're sarcastic and I don't pick up on it, that is why. Every one of my friends and a lot of the people I know, including my own parents, people tell me all the time that I remind them of Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, but, just not to the level of extreme that he is. This is why I run around and always, make jokes at my dad and say, I can't remember even what it was that I said earlier, but it was something about Bazinga, just minus the Inga or something. It was funny at the time, but I guess it's one of those things you had to be there for. Anyways. But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys form your own opinions on who I am versus what I am. And, the only thing I will ask of you is give me a chance, get to know me, stick around on the channel for a year. Figure out if you like me. If you don't have to stick around if you don't want to. But yeah, so this is me. And who I am. And now, we're going to kick these people out of the restaurant. Whee! Closing time! Anyways, to cap this off, who I am is Defected Zombie, and I am officially signing off of this video. But do stay tuned in for the next one. I will be uploading that tonight, and we will finally be discussing our first topic. I will go ahead and give you guys some disclosure that our first topic will be, will still be kind of in terms of what, those previous rules that I was mentioning are going to be for the channel and the forum type community of the channel. So, yeah. Anyways, stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.